Good evening, good evening, good evening. Morning, 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 I would normally say. So, if you've taken the time to follow the link that I've sent, welcome to the first FootballWorks football show with Rory and Paul. And as you can see, at the moment, there is only Paul. But I've been reliably informed that Rory will be joining us soon, so I will not be left solo. So, a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know. Football crazy, still. Referee, coach, player, veteran now, mentor, and looks like I'm trying to be one of these podcasters, social media as whatever it is they're now called. So here I am, putting my two penneth on the world of football. And why not? Because everybody else seems to be doing the same thing. So once Rory joins us, we're going to talk about a couple of things. The start to the Premier League season. So I think there's been 3 games played by pretty much all teams so far before the international break. And while the top of the table looks very similar, the bottom of the table, in some ways, not so dissimilar in some of the teams that are down there, but we'll talk about that. And we'll also have a little chat about a couple of the international matches that affect. So we've got England, who got a new manager in Lee Carsley. We'll talk about that. And also a passion of mine and us both is also the Jamaica national team. And they've also had a new coach in Steve McLaren, who is actually an ex-England manager and also ex-Derby and FC Twans and on and on. Manchester United, I believe, is in that list as well. So, yeah, have a little bit chat about that. So that's what we're looking to talk about today. Okay. So, yeah, just me for now. If you can see the stream and you can see the link, what you can do, you will be able to add comments, I believe. Bear with me. I'm learning as I go. Okay, so this is all new to me, but thank you to modern technology, it's actually possible. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to start by talking about the Premier League. And as I say, hopefully Rory will join us soon. So new season started, and not the busiest transfer window, but work got done, definitely. And also what I found quite interesting was it was probably quite a stable time for managers. There wasn't too many changes in terms of management or head coaches, as a lot of them are now. But probably one of the ones that I find most interesting is Brighton. And I think most of the football world looks at Brighton with a great amount of admiration and just looks at how they're able to keep a level of consistency in terms of their performance, but also to be able to bring in players, bring in managers, keep to their structure, keep to their system, and also turn over a good profit in terms of what they do. I mean, look at one of their most recent departures. Casado went to Chelsea, north of £100 million. And I don't have the figure they bought him for, but it's needless to say they made significant profit there. And you just think, okay, you know, most teams that lose a player that attracts that price tag, the team then has a bit of a void, or it struggles in some way, or suffers, and you just can't say that's happened to Brighton. You know, I'm looking at the current table, and Brighton are third. I know only 3 games have been played. It's very, very early. Normally, probably look to the first 10 games of the season, then you'd see a little bit of form or consistency, rather than, some teams might have had a run of favourable results to kick the season off. So it can be a bit of a false position. But nevertheless, Brighton have been steadily building over a good few years in the Premier League now. That what they have shown is how to come up from the Championship or be a team that wasn't an established Premier League team. Make some very, very shrewd and sensible decisions in terms of recruitment, be that managers or players or the coaching staff, and to sustain their position. I think it's amazing how they've been able to do that. So, Brighton, find it interesting. Coupled with that, this season, again, Brighton are third on 7 points. And their manager or head coach is a relative unknown from the German league. And he's 31 years old. 31 years old. And you have to say, like, when De Zerbi's leaving, you're thinking, well, obviously, whoever they interview or whoever they look to replace him must have a certain amount of quality or acumen about them, because if they don't, then it's not going to align with the standards that they have and they expect. So I think to myself, this guy must have really impressed them, because, but moreover, their scope and their scouting networks are unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, it's very, very impressed, very, very impressed with Brighton, and they sit third. So actually, let's start from the top four. So I'll go back a step. So we've got Arsenal top four, and again, was hoping that Rory would be with us, as Rory is a huge Arsenal fan who's getting absolute pleasure at the moment from ridiculing any Manchester United fan that will listen. And so Arsenal are fourth. They're on 7 points after 3 games, 2 wins and a draw. Brighton are third with 2 wins and a draw. Liverpool second with 3 points. And I believe Rory's just in the waiting room. Let's have a look. Learning, people. I'm learning. Let's have a look. So it should be here. Finecast. Let's see. Okay. Just having a little bit of technical here. Bear with me. Just see. There we go. So. Okay, let's see. Okay. So, we're looking for Rory, but can't seem to see him. Let me just try something. Bear with me, guys. Okay, let's see. Let's share right there. And let's just get him on the WhatsApp. Give him the live link. And there he is. Should be coming in any minute now. Yeah, so as I was saying, sorry about that. So we've got Arsenal fourth, Brighton third, Liverpool second on 9 points after 3 games, so maximum points. And in first, we have Man City. There we go. Rory?
How's it going, Paul? You all right?
Rory, good evening. How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. A few technical issues there, but finally I'm in there still, so it's all good.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, don't worry. It's a learning curve for me too. So, like we've said for too long, we need to do this. We're doing it now, so it's all good. I've just been talking about the top four just while I was waiting for you to join, so
okay.
that's cool. So, do you want to just give a little introduction about yourself, what you do, what your background's been in the game?
Okay, all right. Yeah. Let me say, probably been in football for like probably since the last 25 years. Obviously I started off like coaching, like young at junior league level. And then say about 2020, no, 2005, managed to get opportunity to do some scouting at Birmingham City.
Mm.
I was there for like a few years, and obviously I got a chance to go West Brom. And since then, just been coaching all the way through, and probably up till probably like 2020. No, it's like 2021, and I stopped coaching for a bit still. So obviously because of work commitments and things like that. So yeah, but I
Don't
still want to
forget
get back into
COVID.
the game and things like that anyway. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't forget COVID, the impact that
Yeah,
had on everything as well.
that's right. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So brilliant, brilliant. So as I said, the things we're going to talk about tonight, the first three games of the Premier League,
Mm-hmm.
and how that's looking, how the table's looking, and the Premier League's looking. Also, we've had international or the first round of internationals, two new managers in terms of the teams that we kind of follow closely, Jamaica
Yeah.
and England. Coach McLaren at Jamaica, Lee Carsley at England. So we'll have a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of chat about that. And we'll just see where it goes, and see how long we last until we either fall asleep or run out of gas.
All right, no problem. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
just trial
I
and error at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah, it's trial and error to start.
listen. This is the first one, bro. This is the first
Mm-hmm.
one, and hopefully, in
Mm-hmm.
time to come, we'll look back on this and think, "Oh my lord, who were those two guys?"
Yeah, that's right. It's the
Do
way
you know what I mean?
forward. 100%.
So I was just saying about the Premier League. So just focusing on the top four, I'd kind of done a little bit of a delve into Brighton, really, because one of the things that impresses me about Brighton, or surprises me as well, when I looked into it, like their coach, Hertztuler, is it? He's like 31 years
Yeah.
old. 31
Mm-hmm.
years old. But, to be fair, when I've seen him talk, it makes sense, a bit like Gary O'Neill. When Gary O'Neill goes into like what he's doing and why he's doing it, and you're like, yeah, this guy, he's a student of the game. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's the same. What do you think about the guy at Brighton and the start Brighton? They're currently third in the table, played 3 games, won 2, drawn 1, on 7 points.
Yeah, to be honest, like with Brighton, they don't actually surprise me, to be fair, because like what I noticed with Brighton, their infrastructure is absolutely superb.
Yeah,
And one thing are good with Brighton, their recruitment is just different class. Honestly, their recruitment, the amount of money
yeah,
they've actually made from players who nobody actually knows about.
yeah.
They've just come in like for cheap, you know what I mean, cheap amounts of money, and then next minute the top like teams prepared to buy them. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
for big wages, like obviously
yeah.
for bigger prices and things like that. So
Well,
that's one thing I'm actually impressed with Brighton. Another thing, I'm sure is that the coach is he German? Is that right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
when I looked into
Mm-hmm.
it, I think it's like, I'd have to double check because I don't give out wrong facts. But I
Mm.
don't know that it was like a first division German team. Even I'm not
Yeah.
even sure. But what I
Mm-hmm.
do know is it's a name I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
Normally, like when there's a managing vacancy or a coach changing hands, you're like, oh
Mm.
yeah, I've heard of him. Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
this guy, and maybe that's to my discredit,
Mm.
just sailed under the radar, completely sailed under the radar. So, it's credit to him. And I mean, in one respect, a bit like slotted in at Liverpool.
Mm.
A lot of the things are in place. You've got a fantastic training ground. one of the best squads in the Premier League, and a case of if you can't make that work after the foundation that Klopp's built, then you've got a problem. In the same way at Brighton, like you say, their structure is unbelievable. I mean, that their scouting and recruitment, not just for players but for managers as well. Honestly, I mean, everybody else in football must be looking at it thinking, what have we been doing? What have we been doing? Do you know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. The thing about it is, like, the person who actually had, when there was like the person who they had, Dan Ashworth, obviously was it last season, is absolutely, I mean, he's absolutely different dollars. He's different class. And the thing about it, the Man United fans will, all I say, they need to be patient, because the thing about it, once you've got somebody like that, Dan Ashworth, he'll make sure the recruitment's spot on.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how good he is. I can actually remember when I was at West Brom, I was doing scouting at West Brom. He was like, he was like the recruitment guy at West Brom. And he was a nice person, a cool person. Yeah, managed to meet him a few times, talk to him and whatever, and spend some time. And like, he's a top guy.
So he's just a good human being, anyway.
Yeah,
he's a good human being. Yeah.
So obviously he's actually put certain things into place at Brighton, so it makes it easier. You know what I mean? For people at Brighton now, people probably catching what's going on. And then obviously he went to Newcastle, so he made some good recruitments at Newcastle also. And then obviously he's at Manchester United, so that's the important thing. Yeah, just been checking on the thing regarding the Brighton boss. Yeah, he's German. Let me see. He's been the under-20s assistant manager for Germany. Under-18s assistant manager for Germany, and he was like manager for a short spell with FC St. Pauli. Yeah, he had 55 matches with them. Yeah, 55 matches with them. So yeah,
I remember the Pauli bit, because when I was looking up, I was thinking, oh, that's my first name. What a coincidence! But do you know? Because again, the reason I focus on Brighton a little bit, because obviously, like, I'm fast approaching my half century, and I think you're not far behind me. And I'm thinking, the love of an opportunity for either of us to have coached at that level 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because that's what we're saying. We're saying, roll back 20 years and you're coaching in the Premier League.
Pressure.
It's pressure, bro. But what I'm saying is there a universe where that opportunity could have presented itself? Say all the ducks are in line. You've got all your badges. You've got experience. You've already mentioned there. You were working inside professional football clubs. Do you understand? So it's not like at that stage you're just working with like Bob and his dog down at the local rec Sunday morning football. You're working in a professional football structure. So it's like 20 years on between the two of us when we work together. You're talking 40 odd years of experience together alone, standard, let alone, all we've done outside as well, past that. But let's say even that, if we're just being conservative, that's 40 years of experience and knowledge. And do you know what I mean? Where did we work together? That was at step 6, wasn't it? Step six. Step six. Yeah.
So was at step 6, we didn't really have the tools, to be fair. If I'm honest, it's just like
no.
No matter how you try to implement certain things, it's like it might say structure, and obviously I'm not going to go into that too much anyway.
No. But the point I'm trying to make, without putting the elephant that's in the room out there, is it would have just been nice at 31 to get that kind of an opportunity. Is all I'm saying. It's not even about the rewards or anything like that, but for someone to have confidence in your talent and say, look, this person, for how they're talking, for the knowledge they show, they're deserving of this job.
The thing they're deserving. The game's like now, from 20 years, the game's changed. Their teams are prepared to actually have younger coaches, especially
True.
Yeah, different level. Like even the Sheffield Wednesday boss. Danny Rowe, is it? Is that his name? Sheffield Wednesday boss. He's probably at the same age as the Brighton boss also.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, and he's very good. He's very good. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very good.
I think you're right. There is a little bit of a shift, because I think I mentioned this yesterday on a podcast I was on yesterday, which was that in the past, and I think you might have seen the news, Steve Bruce has picked up a job with, I think it was a League One team. I forget who. And back in the day, well, not even back in the day, but like even just 10 years ago, if there was a vacancy in the Premier League or Championship, you were talking Pulis, Bruce, Hodgson. You know, there was like a Harry Redknapp. There was like a merry-go-round of managers, weren't there? Even Allardyce, where they would just hoover up them jobs. You know what I mean? If there was a gap, they were just managing them. And it made me laugh at times, because you'd see them in the press conference with these new teams, and they'd be talking about the team like they've never managed in another team in the Premier League, sort of thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is my first. You know, I love the Everton fans. No, I love the Crystal Palace fans. Oh no, you know, I love Stoke. And I'm like thinking, yeah, but you were just like playing against them like 3 weeks ago, mate, managing somebody else. What are you on about? Do you know what I mean? So I always found that funny. But what it also meant was, which is the difference now, is it was almost blocking the opportunity for other people to come in and have a go, because it was the usual suspects that were just managing those same teams. You know, it was like, literally, I think if you got all their 4 CVs together, half of them have managed all the same teams. You know, so it's refreshing from that point of view. It might be something where, you know, for us, the ship has sailed in terms of getting that high there in this country's leagues. I don't know, but what I would say is it's refreshing to see. Long may it continue, because if they can look at diversity of age, then maybe they can look at other diversities too. You know, because I think you know, again, my most recent one I'll turn to is like when Vieira was at Crystal Palace. They took Vieira out after Vieira had a run of pretty much the toughest teams. They brought in Hodgson, and seemingly things turned around. But then it was a run of games that were favourable, games that Crystal Palace would and should have won, and probably would have won under Vieira. But they made the change anyway. And I just feel, Raw, and you'll know this, that, you know, how many hoops extra do you have to jump through to get that chance? You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? You know? And it shouldn't be a case of thinking, oh, I'll tell you what, let's try and get a job at QPR because the chairman there looks and sounds like us. I didn't even know I was going to go down the road of this topic, but anyway, here we are. And you know what I mean, though? But it's relevant. Do you know what I'm saying? It's relevant. So yeah, it's just interesting. But no, props to him. 31 years old, 3 games in, 3rd in the Premier League. Can't fault the kid. Can't fault him. And I will call him a kid because, again, I'm about 20 years older than him. So yeah, as we know, usual suspects: Manchester City at the top, Liverpool 2nd, Brighton 3rd, Arsenal in 4th place. How are you feeling about your beloved Arsenal, Rob?
To be fair, like the way I see it is like the way they're recruited. I'm pretty happy. They haven't actually needs to actually go over the top. All they've done is just like 14 players, what they actually needed, to be honest. Anyway, everyone's talking about, yeah, we should have got a striker. Yeah, I do get that. But obviously, the way Kai Havertz actually played last season, could at least give him a chance. At the end of the day, we spent some big money on 65 million. And to be fair, like when he first came in, I was thinking, wow, what's this all about? But because the thing about it is, like, when he came in, he was playing in the like in the left side of 8, where Xhaka used to play. So obviously, but when we put him up to the number 9, he's totally different player. Absolute totally different player. And the thing about it, what's impressed me with him, his work rate, his energy, and he's clever. All he needs to do is just like get that finishing, you know, that clinical finishing. He'll score even more goals.
The instinctive finish. Yeah. I hear.
And,
I hear.
Yeah. Calafiori at left back. He can play either left back or centre half. I think that's a great signing also. So I think at times last season we kind of struggled in left back position. Obviously Tomiyasu is a good player. I like Tomiyasu, who can play anywhere across the back four. But the problem is he had a bit too many injuries.
Yeah.
And Zinchenko, to be honest, I think Zinchenko is better playing in midfield than playing left back. To be
Oh,
fair.
really? You're moving forward with you a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. To be fair, that's where he plays with his national team anyway. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably better in there, and because obviously he's good on the ball, but it's just the defensive side of it.
Mm.
I think that's what's actually killing him. I think quite a few games last season. I can remember the Liverpool game. Obviously Zinchenko against Salah, there's no competition, is there really? To be fair, if you look at it, yeah, I'm being straight. There's no competition, to be fair.
Go on, expand on that. Expand on that. No competition in what respect? Expand on that.
Yeah, to be honest, like with Mo Salah, you've got to have somebody who gets tight to him. Like I can remember the game played against Liverpool, and Tomiyasu played against Salah, and like Tomiyasu had in his pocket. But with Zinchenko, I just think I don't think he's a natural defender. I don't think he's a natural defender.
I think when I look at him play, for me sometimes he looks very much like an orthodox left back. He looks like somebody in a four, just looks like he's comfortable on his left foot, knock it down the line, sometimes step inside, play it, comfortable. And like you say, somebody like Salah, who man can spin on 360 degrees and come out in any direction with the ball. I don't even think he knows which ways he's going some ways.
Yeah.
I remember the goal. I don't know if you remember it. A couple of seasons ago, he scored against Man City. He was on the right-hand side, and he must have twisted about 5 men up from the right-hand side, come inside the air and just slotted it in. I was like, what am I seeing here? It was just different. And the thing was, it wasn't like Liverpool were playing Wolves or Southampton or Ipswich or, so it was, but it's one of the weaker teams in the league. It was against City. It was against City. It was against the proper team. And he spun them up, you know what I mean? Left the man's with twisted blood. It was terrible. Terrible,
Yeah,
so
he's ruthless. Yeah, Salah's ruthless.
And have you heard, it's just, I believe he's just signed a contract extension. Is that right?
Yeah, someone's talking about this. I've seen that earlier on today, to be fair. It's a good move. It's a good move. It's a good move. He doesn't want to go to Saudi. It'd be wasted.
Not yet. Not yet.
It's too good.
Look at the man's conditioning, bro. I mean, like, he's in good. You could almost say, like, it's not even that he's peaking, but it's just still so consistent. He's so consistent. You know what I mean? But
thing about it, I was watching Liverpool last week. They were absolutely different dollars, and he was absolutely class. Honestly, he was absolutely different class. Honestly, and I'll be honest with you. I fear Liverpool more than Man City. What
serious?
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right then. Okay. Well, as you mentioned that then, and we've spoken about the top four, including your beloved Arsenal. Okay, we're 3 games in, so we've got a little bit of a heads up how things are looking already. But still, what's your top 3? No, in fact, go top 4. What's your actual top 4 for this season? What do you think?
Right. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. That's not in a specific order, just the 4.
Okay.
Right. You know what?
Because then, let me help you out. Then you're looking at, could it be Newcastle? Oh, as the table lies now, you've got Newcastle in 5th, Brentford in 6th. Brentford ain't staying there. Villa in 7th, Bournemouth in 8th, Forest in 9th, Tottenham in 10th. So those out of those top 10, and there's some that are outside. We won't even get into the Man U's of this world, the Leicesters and the Chelseas. But those there, so I say Brentford, Villa, Bournemouth, Forest, and Tottenham. Which one of those do you think is joining that top 4?
I'm going to be controversial. I think Chelsea,
Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing.
Chelsea. Yep. If they click, they're going to be a problem,
Okay, Rory, thank you. I'll tell you why. Because 2 seasons ago, when they started doing this madness buying up, right? I said to a friend of mine, he's a big Chelsea fan, loved them all the time, through success and failure. And I said to him, I says, if you can keep Pochettino you guys are going to cause a problem because once those lads get it, and
Yeah.
also the manager works out his 15, 16, then the ability that's there, or the potential ability, as
Yeah.
a coach, I'm thinking, seriously, you know? Now, this season, and again, that was even before Cole Palmer dropped him, all right? I was saying to him, some of these signings you're making, these are young players that are very, very good potentially. So again, when people have said, "Oh, Chelsea put man on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year contracts," I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? That's actually sensible. Because, like,
Yeah.
look, if Salah was on an 8 year contract or had been coming to the end of his 8 year now, well, or not, as the case may be, he's got 2 years left.
Yeah.
Rather than renegotiating now. Do you get what I'm saying? So, if anything, as a business, you're like, hang on, like, if you go and buy, I don't know, a washing machine or a car on finance, they split the payments up. You know exactly how much you're paying each month, don't you? For
Yeah,
how
that's
long?
right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're doing that with a player, rather than saying, "Oh, we're going to kill ourselves over 3 years and pay £50 million," no, we're going to do it over 8 years. You have it drip drip. That I don't know. That makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Because you're stabilising your expenditure, you can predict it, and guess what? If they turn out to be a world-beating player, guess what? You're going up in value. That player's going up in value. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, Chelsea for me, I'm not sure on top four, but you've even seen man like Jackson seems to be getting it. Even
Yeah.
Modric is seeing like, oh, I've got pace, but I can put the brakes on and turn, and he's starting to get it as well. So it'll be interesting. I think Chelsea's a massive shout, mate, because the other thing is as well.
Yeah. I feel Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. There's something about it. The thing about it, if they get into a run of games that they start winning, giving them confidence and things like that.
See it there.
They've got some players. I ain't gonna lie, they've got some decent players.
And let's not forget, is it Madueke?
Yeah,
A little bit of controversy with his.
He's a player. That boy's a player. Honestly, I seen him from last season. I was like, "Who's this boy? He's just come on the scene." But the thing about it is, he's played like England under 20s and under 21s. So
he's got experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I know there's been like the issue with Sterling this year, and that's not great. But then, do you know what? I think your boys might benefit from that, in a big way. Do you know what I mean?
am. So, do you know how long I wanted that Sterling at Arsenal? Long time.
Serious.
And I think personally, because like obviously I read like quite a lot of regarding his background and things like that.
Yeah.
There was like an article saying that thing about it when he was younger, he had a chance to go to Arsenal, but his
Okay.
mum said no. Instead of going to Arsenal, when there's like 50, 60 top players, you need to go somewhere else where you can actually benefit.
Shine.
So that's
Yeah.
why I went to QPR. So when
Yeah.
he went to QPR, he's done the damage, and that's when Liverpool come for him. Then
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
he's been on a journey.
it was a great move. It's a great move. It's a great move, to be
Yeah.
honest. Because when you like the big academies like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, it's a bit of a big risk because I've got a big, massive pool of players to actually pick from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to go to QPR and like learn, I think he made his debut like when he was like 15, 16 at QPR. So
Wow.
obviously, so he just probably alerted quite a few clubs and says, right, okay, yeah. And then obviously
We'll snap
Liverpool
him
got
up.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Liverpool snapped him up, and to be fair, everywhere he's gone, I think he's been class. To be honest,
Well,
I think he's been class. Yeah.
during the Euros when England was struggling a bit, people were crying for Sterling to be in the squad. So but you know what the English fan base is like. That they have short memories and fickle ones at that. Because it wasn't too long ago that they went crying for him.
Euro 21s, Euro 21. I think he was England's best player.
There you go.
I think he was England's best player, to be fair, and like it's shown this Euros, because the thing about it is with Harry Kane, he never had no one to run beyond him. Everyone was
Okay.
just behind him, but
Yeah.
because Sterling was making the runs and making spaces, it was
Yeah.
making it easy for Harry Kane, and Sterling
Yeah.
was scoring goals. I think did he score about 4 goals, 4 or 5 goals?
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's class.
something like that.
That's why I'm
I
so
mean,
happy that Arsenal have got him. To be fair, I ain't gonna lie,
no,
because he'll do
I
some
think
damage.
it's a really good piece of business, a really
Mm,
good piece of
mm,
business,
mm,
and I don't know because you know how sometimes these England managers tan, but
mm.
if Sterling gets fit, match fit, gets in your squad in your starting 11, playing regular,
Yeah,
in my mind there'd be no reason why I couldn't get back into that England
he'll get
side
back in.
because do you know what I
He'll
mean?
get back in.
But
Mhm.
that's whether a Carsley can be open minded to say, do you know what? He's still one of the best wingers that England have got.
Yeah, no. The thing about it, Cars is proper. He's proper.
Excuse
He's
me.
proper.
Mm,
I know personally. He's proper. Yeah, he's proper. Yeah, 100%. He's actually
mm,
proper.
mm,
Yeah. The thing about it is like if Sterling finds form, he'll be back in there.
yeah.
Guaranteed that he'll be back in there.
Well, it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
definitely.
Be interesting to see.
Mm.
So, okay, so that's your top four. You've
Yeah,
kind of stolen my thunder a little bit because even on Kevin's show before the
yeah,
season started, my top four was City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal in no particular order. I couldn't work out
yeah.
the order yet.
Hmm.
But I felt Chelsea because again, just looking at my coach's head was saying they've got some talent there. They have
Yeah,
they've got some talent there. And if the manager can get a tune out of them players, and it looks like that started to happen.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, and you add in the Cole Palmer factor,
Yeah.
you know,
They'll do
you know.
well. They'll do
Mm.
well. And who's that player who they got from Leipzig? He was injured most of last season.
Oh, you're
Um,
killing me.
Christian, is it Inuike or something? You know what about the strike? He can play strike. He play wing. To get him fit,
No,
he's quality. Quality.
no.
Plays.
I'll have to do my homework on that one.
Yeah, he's decent. He's decent. Let me have a look. See if I can
The,
find him.
the difficulty is, Rory, they've got so many players, it's hard to know them all.
Yeah. You put it like that, you're right. Oh dear. Yeah,
While
you're
you're
right.
looking
You're
that
right
up,
like
so I'm
that.
just going to run through a few more. So,
Yeah, no problem.
top five, as we said, Newcastle fifth, Brentford sixth, Newcastle on 7 points, Brentford on 6,
Mm,
Aston Villa on 6, Bournemouth not a bad start on 5. That's a win and 2 draws. Forest in ninth, again a win and 2 draws on 5 points. Tottenham Hotspur. Let's talk about Tottenham a little bit because they're in 10th, one place above Chelsea. We were just talking about. And
right.
Tottenham,
Mm,
I know, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, massive
mm,
rivalry for you.
yeah.
But let's talk about Tottenham because obviously Postecoglou comes in and there's big kind of enthusiasm about him, and Tottenham start running the
Mm,
league or leading the league for a number of weeks and games. Everyone's like, yeah, this is the manager we're looking for, and then Tottenham did what Tottenham do, and they just kind of fell away again.
mm.
So,
Paul, can I
what
say
is it with
something?
Tottenham? What is it?
Paul, do you know before we get into the Tottenham, I've
Mm.
just been looking on Chelsea's list. It's an absolute joke. Jadon Sancho,
Have you seen it?
Joe Felix, Pedro Neto.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, man.
absolute. It's a
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
Nah, they'll be top four. They'll be top four. 100%. They'll be
There's,
top four.
like you say,
They'll be
there's
top four.
too
I'm
much
confident. Hmm.
quality,
Yeah.
too much quality
Mm,
for that
mm,
team to not do something in the
yeah.
league.
And
I
all
think
young
it's,
boys and all young lads. Yeah,
you see,
young lad.
you
Yep,
see,
that's the
you
difference.
know,
If they gel,
yeah,
it's gonna be a problem.
yeah,
Telling
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Oh man,
Big time.
listen, I'd love even to have half of that squad or
Yeah.
a team with half of that ability to work with, because I'd be like, I've got half a chance, I've got
Mm,
pace, I've got skill. I just need to knit them together as a team. I'd love it.
yeah.
I'd absolutely
Okay.
love it. Do you know
So
what I mean?
the plays Christian Anuku.
Anuku. Okay. I think I know the
Anuku.
face you mean, but I
Yeah.
couldn't put a name to him for the life of
Yeah,
me.
you've got
Couldn't do it.
Kane Rose. Got Kane Rose.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Midfield
Yeah,
players.
makes sense.
Yeah, sorry about that. The Tottenham. So basically,
Mm.
um, I, I don't know what to say about them. You know what I mean? I'm not even being biased. I don't know what to actually say about them. They've actually got some good players, to be fair.
Yeah,
Um,
Porro.
yeah,
Love Porro.
yeah, Porro's a good player. I like their left back. Very good.
Mm.
Is it on Doggy? Is his name? Is that right?
not a Tottenham fan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's played left back. He's decent, man. He's decent. He
I
was
might be
injured
doing a
last
football
season.
show, but I'm not an encyclopedia, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. Obviously, you got James Maddison in there.
Yeah, Madders. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Decent. Yeah, they got some good players, but there's always something missing with Tottenham. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Always even when Harry Kane was there, there's always something missing. Like, damn, I got that to go to that extra step to actually do something. Yeah.
Listen, let's think about a thing. Let's think about a thing here, okay? Because it kind of affects Chelsea as it does Tottenham, and it's all linked in. And that's Jose Mourinho. And let's remember what Jose Mourinho said when he was interviewed about Tottenham. And it caused noise, whole heap of noise in the press. You can't say that. You can't do, And he said words to the effect of, Tottenham have almost got like a soft underbelly where there's a culture within the club that they're just happy to just bob along almost. That he hasn't got killers, he hasn't got winners. There was also that interview where everybody said he was throwing Dele Alli under the bus. And then people got around Dele Alli and said, yeah, that's not right, it's not fair on Dele Alli. But then later on, he does that podcast with Gary Neville and he revealed what he reveals about, childhood abuse and stuff like that. So in actual fact, again, Mourinho, without exposing what had happened, and was saying to this kid, look, if you look at the stats of like Jude Bellingham and Dele Alli at their similar ages, numbers are almost identical.
That's right. True.
But then you look at Bellingham coming from a supportive family and Ali coming from a difficult start, and it shows that foundation of support that gives you that mental stability at the highest level. If it isn't there, you then end up with a player, unfortunately, like him, who's struggling. But without going into that too much, Mourinho, there's two conferences on two sets of statements that you have to look back on with hindsight and say, he was right. There was the Tottenham one where he talks about the team having a soft underbelly, and then also the Man United one when he talks about
the same about them. Yeah, definitely said
his
the same.
finest achievement was to get runner-up with this squad and win a cup. And people at the time were like, "Oh, you can't say that about Man U. You can't say that about Man U." And look at Man U now. Look at since he's left, have Man U gone forward?
No, nowhere near.
Okay,
nowhere near.
Okay. So, to me, there has to be something in what he said, because you look back at what he said at the time, and because it's Mourinho and because he's cocksure and he's, he's got a bit of a swagger, he's a bit arrogant, but most of what he said isn't untrue. He maybe just sometimes says it in a way people don't want to hear it. He's not sugarcoated it, but what he said was right. You know what I mean? So again, Tottenham for me, and they've got fantastic facilities, best stadium probably in the world, and yet still they can't get a tune or they can't win a trophy.
It seems like the board's like just happy to make money. It seems that's the way I look at it. They're happy to make money. They're happy to make money, not really going for it. You know what I mean? That's what I know. It's not really going for it. They should be going for it and pushing on, because obviously, you know what I mean, the amount of money they've actually made by player sales.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't really invested back into the playing staff, to be fair.
Well, you see, that's the interesting bit, isn't it? Because we're talking about Brighton earlier and the brilliance that Brighton have done and how they've done it. And yet still, people would say of Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis that, yes, they've provided money for transfers, but that critical next level of investment to really take them from being a team that finishes within the top 10 to the top 6, or even between the 6 to the 4 position, that they never really go that little bit further, They never really go that little bit further. And in the end, that is the difference. But I mean, as a Liverpool fan, we've mitigated money by just amazing coaching, getting some recruitment amazingly right. Some lads who've come through our system, including Trent. Trent's one of our own, turning out to be world level. You don't know that's going to happen when you've got a kid in your academy. On the other wing, we took a punt on a lad from Hull in Andy Robertson, and look at him. Do you know what I mean? You would
Who
argue
signed him? Brendan Rodgers. Did Brendan Rodgers sign him?
that sounds right, mate. Yeah, it's about that era. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So again, you look at it and you think, because we ain't spent the money that Man City got. We ain't got that money, and even if we had that money, the Fenway Group, that's not how they go. That's not how they do. That's not how they do it. You know what I mean?
You see, Liverpool. One thing I've got to give it to Liverpool this season, what they've actually done, they've actually not needed to spend that amount of money. To be fair, because obviously the players are there already. They just need what I think personally. I think they just needed someone to come in and refresh them. To be fair, you know what I mean? Give them that different type of, I wouldn't say a different voice. Because you might.
But sometimes that's needed, Rory. You know yourself. You can be with a group of players, and it's not that somebody comes in and tells you something different or does something different fundamentally to what you're doing. But those players might just be tired of hearing it from you. And it's not even that you're doing anything wrong yourself. It's just that the players need a fresh input.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's
why I think it is with Liverpool. Because to be honest, if you look at it, they won the Champions League. Is it the year before that? Before Klopp left? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, so season before. Yeah.
And like you might say, it's hard. Like if you win the Champions League, you might say the next season it's kind of hard to motivate. Hard to motivate yourself. You look at it, Man City, like they won it, and like next season didn't win it, did they?
No,
because it's that motivation. To be fair, you know what I mean.
It's very. I mean, again, it's only like your Real Madrid's with. Is it 12 plus now? They've got or more. I can't remember the number. It's ridiculous, but to do that, you look at the level of player they've had to have in their squad to be a team that could be, say, losing to City and turn it around and win a game. There's not many teams that can do that. There's not many teams that can do that. Do you know what I mean? To hold their nerve and come back in a game and then actually in the end look like they were never worried. That composure, that mental fortitude is unbelievable. As well as having just some of the world's most gifted players in that football team. And then when it added Mbappe to that this season, it's just like, come on now, behave. Just like give everyone a chance. So Tottenham are going to do what Tottenham do, aren't they? They're just going to, they're going to do what Tottenham do. So it brings us to 11th place, where we've got Chelsea on 4 points. 12th, we've got Fulham on 4 points. 13th, we've got West Ham on 3 points. Man United in 14th place on 3 points. Rory, don't laugh. Behave now. Leicester 15th position on a point. Crystal Palace in 16th on a point. And 17th is Ipswich, also on a point. So if we go from position 11 to 17, 12 to 17, covered Chelsea. Any surprises there? So we've got Fulham, West Ham, Man United, Leicester, Crystal Palace and Ipswich that they're in those positions.
To be honest, I think West Ham, I think they'll have a good season. I think they can get the European places, to be fair.
Yeah.
They made some good, solid signings. I think it's just time for him to actually gel. And just get into the system. I really feel they'll do well this season, West Ham. So I can see them probably like getting Europe. I mean, top 6, top 7, possibly 8. Yeah.
Are we talking Wednesday Europe or Thursday Europe now?
I'd say Thursday.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
To be honest, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
I think that's realistic.
Yeah, Villa. I think they'll get in the top 5.
Yeah. There's more. There's more to come from Villa. I mean, they're 7th at the minute, but like you say, Villa. I'm not too worried about them. I know they're going to have because they're Champions League this season, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's why I say. Yeah. I would have said top 4, but the thing about it is like because they've got so many games coming up.
Yeah.
It's probably going to affect their squad because they haven't really got a big squad, really, to be honest, to keep playing players all the time. And like a load of other games, because I know for a fact this season the Champions League's like 8 games, isn't it, to start off with?
That's right. Yeah, they've expanded it, and it's like that. Yeah. It's kind of like you don't play everybody, mini league sort of format. I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, I've read through it, looked through it. I don't fully understand it yet myself, so I'm not going to talk on it too much. But
Yeah.
the
And
idea, I think
it takes a few injuries, it like knocks them back a bit, to be fair. So that's
exactly,
why I say they're
exactly.
probably top five. Top five.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. To be fair,
Mm.
I think that's a good shout.
Regarding Brentford, I think they'll be like mid-table, probably like mid-table. They'll do all right. Top 10.
Yeah,
Brentford,
yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
let's talk about the slight elephant in the room because you're skipping past it. 14th place, Man United. Go.
Wow. Well, I don't know what to say. Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want, bro.
No, so the thing about it is, like, we see with Man United now, the problem is they think they can just buy themselves out and have success straight away. It doesn't work like that. It
No,
does not work like that at all.
no,
At all. No matter how
not
many
anymore.
players.
Not in the Premier League anymore.
Thing about it, like the amount of players they've actually bought is an absolute joke. And the thing about it is, you know what I mean? They need to get the right recruitment. That's why I says like Dan Ashworth, he'll get the right recruitment
Yeah,
in the actual squad. So they might have to get rid of a few players. Like probably next season, you're going to see him get rid of quite a few big name players. To be fair, anyway, they're going to have to.
Rory. Before you go further, have they got the right manager?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, okay.
I don't think so. To be fair,
Mm.
it's all right bringing players who you know, but are them players good enough? This isn't what can I say? No disrespect, nothing like that. This is not Ajax, you know.
No, it's
This
not
is not Ajax.
Eredivisie, is it? It's not the Dutch
Yeah,
league.
it's not Ajax. This is the Premier League.
Mm.
And for a big, you might as well say, well, I'm going to say it how it is. For a club like Man United like the Real Madrid of England.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Bar Liverpool. You know what I mean? They're them two like the Real Madrid and Barcelona of England. And for you to get the players who you actually got, um, I just feel the recruitment is not good enough. To be
yeah,
fair, I don't
yeah.
know what's going on or whatever, but yeah, the recruitment's not good at all. They keep buying centre backs, right backs, midfield players, and you know what I mean. It's just like yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him to make sure nobody else gets him. It's like you
Rory,
might say,
Rory, you've been involved with West Brom. You've got a man like
yeah,
Johnny Evans coming from there back to Manchester United. Could
yeah,
you ever seen that in your career? You know,
never.
you know what I mean?
36-year-old, 36-year-old. I don't know what to say. Right, right. I'm gonna say how it is. I said it for so long, right? Um, don't needed to get another a centre off, you know,
Mm,
because if the managers would have put Aaron Wan-Bissaka alongside Harry Maguire, I do
mm,
believe that partnership would be class. Because to be fair, I was watching the England game yesterday. I thought Harry
mm-hmm.
Maguire was excellent yesterday.
Yeah,
You know why?
steady.
Because he had Mark Gay right next to him, and you know he had a bit
There
of
you go.
pace around him.
There you go.
And thing about it, Mark Gay would go and attack the ball, and
Yeah,
all Harry Maguire do is just sweep up behind him
there you
because
go.
he knows his position. With Aaron Wan-Bissaka,
Yeah.
his pace is just a joke. And
So, what does that remind you of? When he was at Leicester, wasn't he
mhm,
alongside Wes Morgan? So
yeah,
Wes
where's more?
Morgan had the pace.
Yeah,
Maguire with his big slab head, he'd win the headers,
he'd
but
win the
he
headers.
had
Yeah,
somebody around him. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You're so spot on with
to
that, Rory. You're so
organize.
spot on.
Yeah, to organize. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I like one of my good friends used to say to me when he used to play at the back, he used to say, right, he'll go win the headers and dominate the centre forward,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next centre half just go and sweep up and just clean up everything. But he
Partnership.
was always
It's partnership.
he was always the dominator to go and smash the player and make sure, you know what I mean, impose himself, and then you got another centre half to do that.
Mm.
So yeah, but it's like the sign is like Delict now. I don't know what to say about him. Was it 65 million euros for him?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what to say. Thing about it, if you can't get into if you struggle to get into the Bayern Munich team, and
Mm.
with all due respect, I say Man United a bigger club than Bayern Munich. To be fair, if you struggle
Yeah.
to get in a team like that, how are you expecting him to actually get into the Man United team? To be fair, you know,
There you
it's a
go.
bit of a Strange one. And the midfield, obviously they got that new player that they got from PSG, Ugarte. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He couldn't even get in the PSG team, could he? Yeah. And he's come to Man United, and all the Man United fans are like blasting him and saying, "Oh yeah, he's going to be the savior of this and that. He's going to be
There's not one
the
player. There's
answer
not one
to."
player that can save them. And I have to agree with you, Rory. Like, man, if you travel anywhere around the world and you go into a gift shop, you can pick up like Man United, Celtic, Rangers, Tottenham, Everton, Liverpool memorabilia. They're big brands, they're big names around the world. Hence why so many of the teams do their pre-season tours all around the world now, because they're trying to appease their worldwide fan base. I've always said, even as a Liverpool fan, a good Man United team is important for the Premier League because of the size of Manchester United as a team. Again, important Arsenal being up there and competing. Now, what's happened? Obviously, the magic has shifted across Manchester and gone to City. So there's still a strong Manchester team involved in the top of English football, but Manchester United have that heritage. Now, City, you would say, because you've got to remember, if you're 17 or 18 years old, you'd be old enough to have never seen Manchester United win the league, I believe.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean?
When the last time they won it, was it 2013 when Van Persie went? Is that right? It's the last time they won it, isn't it? Is that right? And Patrick Evra. Yeah.
Is it that long? Is it that short ago? It's only 11 years, is it? It's only 11 years. Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah. It's about that,
but, But there's a generation building where they've never seen Manchester United be a season in, season out successful team. And I don't know about you, but if I was not even just a Manchester United fan, but if I was part of Manchester United, the club, I'd be like, what's happened to my club? And people go on about the class of '92 and how a lot of those players moan, and Neville's one of the leading lights for moaning about where the club is and where it isn't and stuff like that. But you got to look at it and think, hang on a second. If you were involved with something, and to be fair, Rory, you've been there yourself. You've managed teams with certain clubs. We won't mention names. Don't need to. And then you've had an opportunity to return to them, and they've not been of the same standard. And you've thought, hang on, the dream I was sold isn't what was there before. I've gone back. It's not the same. But
you're right.
A team or a club still has an identity to say, this is our level. This is what we attain to be. This is what we are. This is what we're about. And I can't say anything other than it would appear that they've forgotten who they are and what they stand for.
It's true.
Do you know what I
mean? It's crazy. The thing about it, like the amount of money that given to Ajax is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. Absolute. Honestly, it's absolutely crazy. To be fair, and are they any? Was they look at like my argument is are they any better than the players we had last season?
You might just be wondering my expression on my face a minute there. I was just pointing where the cat was. My wife just popped her head around the corner, not realising I'm trying to do a podcast, but it's all close. She's just come to find the cat.
I'm saying, So are they any better than the players who they had last season? To be fair, that's the question.
No. The thing is, Rory, I mean, again now, because of financial fair play, you can't just fix a bad squad in a season.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
No. So you're talking about what? Maybe 4 transfer cycles, which includes summer and winter. So that's at least 2 seasons to clean up that team. At least 2 seasons to clean up that team.
Yeah.
But then in that time, unless you've been really lucky, City ain't going to drop off. I mean, within 2 years, could Pep Guardiola have left City? Possible. If Pep leaves City, are City going to kind of crumble and disassemble? Possible. Because I think a big amount of the attraction to being at City is Guardiola. And if he should leave or goes, how many of those players would stay? That'd be interesting. But for United to get back to even consistent top 6, top 4, winning more than just a cup. Because, okay, give Ten Hag his credit. He's won a couple of cups, but that's not United. That's not what United are about. Cups. They're about league. They're about saying we're the best team. There was a time where Ferguson would go on about, look at our stadium. Look how good our stadium. We've got the best stadium in the world for football. Can't say that today. Can't say that today. No.
Have they fixed the roof yet?
You didn't do that. You didn't do that, did you? You didn't do that.
No, I'm helping you though. Honestly. No, man.
Oh, man. Listen, we're coming up to the hour, so let me wrap up the Premier League, and then we'll go on to England and Jamaica.
Okay.
Cool. So, but I just want to again, because we talked about it off air a few weeks ago, and it was Liverpool's first game of the season. But your early thoughts on Ipswich, Rory?
Right. To be honest, I've heard quite a lot good things about him, but I haven't seen him personally. To be fair, I heard they play some good football, but I haven't seen him this season. Last season, I seen him quite a lot.
Yeah,
to be fair, but this season I haven't really seen him. But people have said, they've been, you know what I mean? They're not like sitting back or trying to defend. They're trying to get at teams when they're actually playing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, what I've seen of them, I'd say who's impressed me for them is Delap, their striker. Son of
is that lad who was at Man City?
Yeah. So son of Rory Delap, ex-Derby, ex-Sunderland, bit of a journeyman, Delap, but you knew what you're getting with him. Good pro. And the guy,
he's got some good sons. He's got some good sons who play football. Yeah, he's got a few. He's got younger ones. Yeah.
Well,
one was at Albion. Yeah, one was at Albion.
If you're in the game, it's easy to be in the game, innit? You know what I mean? It's much easier. Once you're in, you've only got to look at the Lampard Redknapp dynasty. When you're in, and it's easier to get in and stay in. You know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, there's not many Whitticks and not many Downses in the game. So we've just got to make our own furrow. You know what I mean? For the next gen. But but Delap really impressed me. Loads of running, powerful, tall guy, powerful, but still got good ability in his feet. Scored a great goal, taking the ball from the halfway line, cut across from the right hand side, fired it to the left, flew in, brilliant. Really good.
Who's that lad that who they signed from Luton? The winger. He played yesterday for Ireland.
The brother. Let me see. Hang on. Let me just pull up their squad.
Is it Obeng or something?
1 second. Squad's coming. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Good player he is. Got patience.
Not Tuanzebe.
No.
I'll tell you who's gone there, actually.
Played right wing yesterday for Ireland.
Calvin Phillips is there as well. Let's have a look. Ogbenny.
Yeah, him.
Ogbenny.
Yeah.
Chiedozie Ogbenny. Yeah. He caused him some problems, didn't he?
Yeah.
He caused him some problems. He really did.
Even the striker who played up front for Republic of Ireland yesterday, he's just signed from Blackburn. He's a goal scorer.
Okay.
You give him a chance as a proper goal scorer. Yeah. So I think that might surprise a few people. To be fair,
I think. Listen, if they can keep fit, keep together, there are going to be some teams that they cause a problem to, because that first game of the season, which is a big ass first game of the season against Liverpool. Yes, you've got the buzz. You're at home. A lot of hype, a lot of noise around that fixture. Ipswich back in the top flight all these years, you know what I mean? But they got on the pitch and they caused us a problem in the first half, Rory. These guys caused us the problem, mate. To the point where Slot had to take off Kwanzaa, brought on Konate, solidified the back, because Kwanzaa was just getting bullied by Delap. He was absolutely getting rinsed. And it's no bad, shout on the young lad, because he's a young guy breaking through Kwanzaa. But he got bullied. And, Konate come in and none of that's happening. Straight away, none of that's happening. He dealt with it.
Mm.
And we looked at a different team just from that one change. Changed us completely. Now, what was nice about that was the boldness of the manager to think, yeah, this ain't working. There's no point killing this kid. He's struggling. Let's get him off the pitch. Let's get some experience in there. But Ipswich, credit to Ipswich, you know, I mean, we ain't easy. We've done that to even Man City, where we've soaked up pressure, and just broke and killed teams. So Ipswich got no embarrassment in terms of that result. I think, like you say, I mean, they're 17th now. I think anything between 14th and 17th for them will be a fantastic season. And I think it's well within them as well.
So Paul, so what about, is there any other teams you think might do well this season at the bottom at the moment?
Well, that's what I was coming to, because you've got 18th, 19th, and 20th, which is Wolves, Southampton, and Everton. Now, Wolves, I think they'll get out of danger. They're not going to sit there. There's a bit too much quality there, I would have thought. Plus, they've got O'Neill still. But they need to start moving soon, otherwise he'll come under pressure. But the other teams, I mean, you've got your ex-boy Nketiah, who's gone to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And yes, they've lost Elise. Yeah, he went to Germany, didn't he?
Yeah, Bayern
Munich, that's it. So I think Nketiah, it could be a new lease of life for him, because he's probably going to start more than he doesn't. Whereas for Arsenal, he was always like a bit part player, let's be honest. I think Crystal Palace could really move up from there. I think for them, realistic is top 10 and above. If they can get to the top 10 and be consistent, you never know where the points are towards the last stage of the season. Might be a late push, might get them into Thursday Europe. You never know. But I think for them, realistic is top 10. Leicester is an interesting one, because they haven't really changed their squad wholesale, but they have got a veteran striker in Jamie Vardy, who's already scored goals coming back in the Premier League. But can he sustain that for the duration and the intensity of the Premier League season? Yeah,
that's the difference. Yeah. Do you know anything about it? Like, with all the teams down the bottom, I feel them do well. Southampton.
19th place at the moment, no points.
Yeah,
Serious.
Early days at Southampton.
Okay.
I think they'll do all right. There's one player. It's actually two players. Like goal scorers, like a guy called Cameron Archer. He's at Sheffield United this season. Yeah, he's a goal poacher, and they've just signed a player from Port Vale, player called Bailey Dupenna. He's a young lad. Obviously, he's been playing England under 18. Is it 17s and 18s? I watched quite a few games of him last season, and the boys got something about him. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. He's got something about him. He's a striker. Yeah, he's got great feet. The thing about it, if he actually gets a chance in the Prem, I think quite a few teams will be out on his case. To be fair, I ain't gonna lie. Seriously, really? I've seen him play.
Might even get snapped up in the January window. Might even get snapped up, get pulled across to somebody else.
Because he's just signed. He's just signed not so long ago. I think it's transfer deadline. So obviously, probably give him time to bed in. But in the next few years or so, he'll be doing damage. If you go on YouTube and watch England under 17s or 18s, you'll see.
What's his name again?
Bailey Dupenna.
Nice. I'll check him out after the show.
He's decent. Tall lad, very tall lad. Got good feet. Cool. Thing about it, when he gets stronger, gets bulks up, trust me, he's going to be a problem. I say he's a similar player, to the player who Liverpool got, Jadon Danns.
Yes.
Dan. Yeah. He's in a similar like
frame.
Yeah.
A mold.
Tall, yeah. But the thing about it is, like, Bailey's a finisher. The boy's a finisher. If you see some of his goals he scored for Port Vale last season, you're like, what's going on here? Yeah, the boy's a finisher, man. Big time.
Well, like you say, he's not going to get signed or picked up to step to the next level unless there's something there. So. Yeah,
and one thing I'll say, if you're at Southampton, they're a good club for young players. That's one thing.
Yes, very true. Yeah. The Walcotts, the Gareth Bales. Yeah. There's a production line in there.
Chamberlain. They're good. They're good for young players. They'll push you through if you've got the ability and you've got the you know what I mean, determination, they'll actually push you through. So
It's true.
It'll do all right there. It'll do all right there. And
Their,
Cameron Archer will do all right too there still. Yeah.
yeah, their academy is well renowned for developing a lot of good talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you could almost say, though, you know, Southampton, Brighton, there's a rivalry there, isn't there? They might not forgive me for saying this, but you could say they were the predecessors to the Brighton model in some respects of developing academy kids, selling them, and that money, keeping the club going, keeping the academy going. You know, they've always done that. I mean, for a good period of time, had a really good close link, you would say, transfer-wise with Liverpool. You know, the Van Dijks, the Sadio Manes of this world, you know, so again, Southampton have got skin in the game for developing players.
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, can't fault them. Props to coaches there.
Yeah, I think what they need, like, obviously the strike force ain't too bad. Still got Alan. Is it Alan Armstrong? Armstrong at the top. But I think there's probably need a few more midfield players to, like, you know what I mean, be a bit more combative in the middle of the park, a bit more creativity. I think they'll do all right, to be fair. Yeah, they'll do all right. Like it. Play football. Yeah, so.
Well, that brings us nicely on to 20th position, which is Everton. Okay, so.
But the problem is that they always start off badly, though. That's the problem. It's like they start off badly and then they get themselves into a bad position, and then like they have a change of manager or something, and the manager comes in and just, you know what I mean. It's just like it's like a broken record, to be fair. Because obviously, like Lampard had to save him last season, season before Dyche come in, and then Dyche come in and saved them. You know what I mean? It's like, and back in the day when I was younger, Everton were a big club.
Still are a big club. Many would argue. Still a big club. Yeah. Have you seen their new ground? Have you seen the pictures of their new ground?
Yeah. It's a joke.
You know? So here's the thing. That ground and that investment can't afford to be a championship team, can it?
Nah, no chance. But where's that investment going? That's what I'm saying. Where's the investment for players? Because, to be fair, they ain't only bought nobody, have they? To be fair, have they?
Not that I've noticed. No. But then, Rory, if you were on the European market and your agent said to you as a player, not as a coach, as a player, I've got a move for you. Oh yeah, where? Premier League. Oh great. Where am I going? Oh, Everton. Do you know what I mean? Come on.
You know, the thing about it is, you know, with Everton and Man United, I should have said this before. Everton and Man United, they're known for bringing young talent through. Used to be
the way. Yeah.
So what's happened? You know what I mean?
But that's what I was saying earlier about these clubs forgetting the foundation of their history and their philosophy. Because Liverpool, we've always been a team that brings through talent. And last season, when we struggled, we brought in the kids, the Bradleys of this world, the Clarks of this world. You know, the lad you just mentioned, he came in as well. Those three did a job for us, a huge job for us, when we had injuries or whatever issues were affecting players at that time. Not all just injuries, some psychological, I'm led to understand. But they came in and they didn't just do a job, Rory. They excelled. And the nice thing was that they were from our academy. They were localish lads, one of them at the very least, and they're from our academy. And that is so much of what Liverpool's about. The Carragers, the Gerrards of this world are local lads, one club lads for their whole career.
Didn't someone that plays this season? He's gone to Leipzig.
Yeah, I think Clark got released. Clark got released. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And then just brought Chiesa in.
But again, when you think but you see, sometimes you have to let go to get one in, because that's where right. Fenway Group, the model they've got is, because remember, if you sell an academy player, that's effectively pure profit, isn't it? You know, so in terms of financial fair play, the more academy players you can develop, the better you are. Again, this is why they were trying to push Gallagher out, and also season before last when they Chelsea let go Mason Mount
Yeah.
because there was an academy product. They didn't really want to sell him, but it was business, and
Yeah.
football is business at the end of the day, or it is definitely nowadays. $1 trillion world
Mm.
wide, isn't it? Big,
Yeah, it's like
big, big, big.
Arsenal. They got a fee for Smith Rowe. Got a fee for
Yes.
Eddie Nketiah also.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And
so it's business.
actually, I love the fact you've mentioned Smith Rowe because,
Yeah,
again, he scored a great goal for Fulham the other day.
yeah,
And I'm so happy for him because he has been played by injury. And I'm just
mm.
hoping he can just get and stay fit and have a really good season. For two
I think
reasons,
he
though,
will.
Rory.
Yeah,
For
hmm
two reasons. One for him,
yeah,
make it three. One for him, Fulham's benefit, which is just good for them.
yeah.
But guess what? Guess the rumour I've heard?
For Jamaica.
See it there?
Yep,
See it there?
Jamaica. Yep,
See it there?
Jamaica. Yep.
Listen. Woof.
Him and Nelson. Him and
Woof.
Nelson.
Come on now. Hey,
Him, Reece Nelson, and Mason
come on.
Greenwood.
Come on. Come
Yeah.
on. So, beautifully brings us on to the Jamaica national team. All right.
Mm.
So that's the wrap up of the league. So first three games of the Premier League season, we've kind of reviewed that. I love what you've contributed there. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful. Smith Rowe potentially could be with form a surprise package for JA. We never know. But let's see what
Mm.
happens on
Mm.
that one.
Mm.
But again, let's talk about this. So we've got the Jamaica national team.
Yeah.
They've just played in the Nations League CONCACAF side
Mm-hmm.
against Cuba. They
Yeah.
drew 0-0.
Mm.
Some of the facts and figures that I know from that game, Rory. Let me just talk you through these. Let me just bring this up 1 second
Yeah.
on my device. I will work out for the next time how I bring these bits and pieces into the show so other people can see what I'm looking at too.
Mm.
So here's the stats that I've got for that game. Jamaica 72.7% possession, Cuba 27.3%. By my maths, that adds up to 100. Shots on goal in 90 minutes, 21, Jamaica,
Mm.
Cuba 4. Shots on target 7, Jamaica, Cuba 0. Shots off target 8, Jamaica, Cuba 3. Block shot 6, 1 for Cuba. Goalkeeper saves Jamaica 0, Cuba 7. Fouls committed Jamaica 17, Cuba 10. Adding to that Cuba had a man sent off as well. But the actual stat that matters is the game finished 0-0.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, Rory, please.
Actually watched the game. To be fair, I've seen quite a few Jamaica games recently, and the domination of the way Jamaica played was absolutely. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was happy, to be fair. The only thing what was missing is that clinical finishing to put the ball in the back of the net. The goalkeeper, Cuba goalkeeper, he had a great game. Ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
He had a great game, to be fair. But I think they missed quite a few chances, if I'm honest. Anyway.
Well,
And
I saw the 4-minute highlight package, and there is an occasion of a player shooting from in the 6-yard area and the ball going over the crossbar.
Yeah, can't work, can't happen, can it? Can't happen.
No, not in
No,
international football.
can't happen at all.
But let's be honest, this did happen years ago. Can you remember Chris I can never say it. Is it Uluwumu? Oluwumu?
Yeah, I know
For
you're not about.
Scotland?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he was in the box, crossbarred it over the crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't
But
happen.
the only thing about it, I was very impressed the way they actually played. Because the thing about it, normally how Jamaica played, they normally play 2 holding players. Yeah. But they had Latibide. He played as the holding player, just one holding player. And then you had Casey Palmer one side, and you had Bobby Reed the other side. So basically, you might as well say it was like a 4-1-4-1. And I went on a podcast the other day, and I was telling, like, obviously, like, it was a Jamaican podcast. So I was telling like the host and things like that. I said that's how Steve McLaren plays. He likes to have, instead of 2 holding players, he likes to dominate the midfield and, like, obviously press higher onto their midfield players. So instead of having 2 holding players, you know what I mean, just have one holding player just sitting in front, screening
Mhm.
the two centre halves and just dominating. And then obviously the two midfield players can go and push on and be like the runners to go and support the striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him play that quite a few times. Obviously, when he was at Derby County, he used to have George Fawn. Can you remember George Fawn? He's played in the middle of the park
Yes.
for Derby. Yeah, he
Yes.
used to have it.
Yeah.
He was class. He was class at it.
Mm.
And then when George Fawn got injured, he had I think they had John Eustace, even the Blackburn manager.
Eustace. Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
sat there and just dominated. And
Yeah.
then he had two runners. So obviously, I knew he was going to do something similar like that.
Mm.
I think the front three actually let him down. To be fair, like the front
Which,
three
if
let
you think of
Jamaica
that
down.
formation, that's not too dissimilar to if you think of the Ferguson era of Manchester United.
Yeah,
They'd sometimes set up very similar to that. But like you
yeah,
say, the
hmm
the win for the team is that you've got pace on either wing. Man United
yeah,
always
yeah,
have
yeah.
pacey wingers
hmm hmm
where
hmm
they'll soak up the pressure and then they'll hit you, and you can't deal with them on the counter because they've gone.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
they're just, again, going backwards, they just don't look like that or anywhere near that
Mm.
right now.
Yeah.
But
To be
no,
honest,
that's
like, yeah, even with the Jamaican back four, they were solid, proper
yeah,
solid. No
mm,
one's getting past them.
mm,
You got like Ethan Pinnock, Amari Bell,
solid.
yeah, Low, and then you got the other lad. Forgot his name. Yeah, they're solid, decent,
Mm,
decent.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, as I said,
Obviously,
I only
yeah,
saw a short highlight package, but
mm,
what I saw, even just how they were receiving the ball, like more on the half turn and
yeah,
not panicking on the ball. Because I watched the
yeah,
highlights from the game before against Mexico,
mm,
and
mm.
like man would get the ball near him and just booted it out of play, and I'm like, yo,
Long ball,
this is
long
not part of
ball,
football.
long ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can't play
So
football like that. But McLaren's give him that give him that say, right, go and express yourself. Go and play
yeah,
football.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
a
And
bit of
as you
confidence
know,
underneath.
yeah. So they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I was obviously when I was on the podcast, I've been listening to quite a few of the reactions from some
Yeah,
of the Jamaican supporters that they're not happy because obviously didn't win the game. But
oh,
what I say is they've got to look at the long term. The
yes,
aim is to get to the World Cup. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The aim
yeah.
to get to the World Cup. You can't play how you used to play
No,
with the previous manager, and you're
no.
going to expect to get a World Cup. It's not going to happen. You need to
Well,
for McLaren to come in now. Do you know actually seen on the bench? Trevor Sinclair. Trevor Sinclair's on the bench also. With McLaren, I was shocked. I was like, hey, what's going on here?
Well,
Yeah.
there is big rumours that he's getting an assistant manager's contract. You know,
Mm,
there's big rumour
okay.
about that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
Yeah. There
see
might be.
how that
Mm,
goes.
mm,
Now, interestingly, you mentioned something there about Jamaica not playing how they used to play, but
yeah.
this kind of links in really nicely because Jamaica's manager left and is now the manager of England's opposition, just gone,
Mm,
Helgeson.
mm,
And it's interesting you say about how defensive they were because that was very much what England faced yesterday was a
yeah.
very defensive team.
Hmm.
But how did you see the England performance under Carsley, the first England performance? How did you see that?
Do you know what? I was very impressed with England. To be fair, I'm not going to lie. I was very,
Mm,
very impressed with England.
mm,
Do you know who impressed me? And I'm always slating him. I've got to hold my hand up. Harry Maguire was absolutely different dollars yesterday.
yeah.
He was class. You know what I mean? I
Mm,
was thinking, wow. He was like he was playing for Leicester again. You know what I mean? He was
yeah.
confident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even like the midfield looked different.
Mm,
Passing the ball and moving it. You know, Jack Grealish getting into pockets of spaces,
yeah.
creating things. And Gordon should have played more in the
Yeah.
Euros. He should have played more in the Euros.
Listen, you
Should have
can't.
played more,
Pace
bro.
is pace. You know,
Yeah,
you you
yeah.
you, you could have an Iniesta type, Xavi type player all day, but
Mm,
what you can't live without in the modern game is pace. Pace is
yeah.
just. It's that thing that gets you out of trouble. It's that thing that breaks
Mm,
the lines. It's that thing that puts the
mm,
fear of God into
mm,
defenders and midfielders. When somebody can
yeah.
run at you with the ball with pace, it's
Mm.
problems. It's problems. So
And the
you're
thing about
absolutely
it is,
right.
another person, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he was class, man. Right back, right
There you
back. He
go.
was class.
Mm, mm,
Honestly, it's like people
yeah.
say, "Oh, he can't defend. He can't defend." But the thing about it, does he have to defend?
Yeah.
Does he need to defend? Because like the way Carsley was clever, and this is what I like. Colwell, who played left back, he's normally a
Mm,
centre up. So
mm,
when Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone bombed on and push upfield,
mm,
Gay just drops into the right centre back position, and then you've
mm.
got Maguire. He stays central, and then Colwell just drops in. So you might as well play. You might say you're playing as a free, and you still
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
someone sitting and holding the middle of the park anyway. So you're not
yeah,
going to get caught. So
yeah.
that's how clever it was. To be
And
fair,
that gave him, like you say, the freedom and the license. Maybe not
yeah,
to be as much of an as
mm,
like say an inverted midfielder, but
yeah,
he could press. Sorry, he could push with the
yeah,
kind of security of knowing, oh, if it breaks
mm,
down, I've got cover.
mm,
You know, I'm
mm,
sorted. Because I think sometimes even when he's played for Liverpool, he's pushed on because he's been asked to. He's pushed on like Robertson does on the other side.
mm,
And then teams know that if they can break down the ball to play in
mm,
that gap in behind, because it's not that he's slow, but
mm,
if you've got a really, really meat winger, then
yeah,
he's probably going to win that race against Trent, and then Trent's out of position to defend, sort of
mm,
thing.
mm,
Then it's
mm,
difficult when you're trying to tackle somebody from behind or the side
mm,
rather than facing them. So, no,
definitely.
it's a really good spot. That's a really good
Yeah,
spot, Rory.
and the thing about it is with Trent Alexander in the team, it
Mm.
makes Saka look more dangerous. You know, made him
Yeah,
look more dangerous
yeah,
because the thing about it, he
yeah,
knows for a fact he'll just run inside with the ball, and he knows he can play the reverse ball out to Trent Alexander-Arnold.
yeah.
And the thing about it, and sometimes Trent Alexander was just going inverted.
Mm,
He just stood there. He knew the ball was going to go to him, so then
yeah,
he can just use that 60-yard pass he's got. You get me?
yeah. And I
And like,
think
yeah, hmm
it goes without saying that, like Kyle Walker, people might
yeah,
say defending, he probably
mm,
nudges Trent. But
yeah,
in international football, when you need that moment of precise
quality.
delivery,
Mm,
you can't argue the quality that Trent has, and
that's right.
on that side of
Mm,
his game, he gives
mm,
you an advantage.
mm,
So it's going to be interesting to see how that balance is going forward. Because let's remember, I mean, neither one of them are spring chickens.
yeah.
Walker's a little bit older.
Mm,
There can't be too many tournaments left in him, let alone series of cycles with the England team. So again, they have got to
mm,
look at, okay, when Walker is no longer with us
yeah.
internationally, what do we do?
Mm,
Because it will be a void. He has been solid and a really good performer
mm,
for England. We can't fault that. Um,
mm.
but
You got
Trent does
Trent.
offer something
You got
different.
Trent, and you still got Ben White also. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Ben White
Who
to
might
come
come
back
back in?
if you
Who
want to
might
pick
come
him.
back in now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah.
hmm
Because obviously the whole issue that was there under Southgate's regime,
Yeah.
that should be dealt with in terms of some of those bodies not being there now that caused the issue.
Mm, mm,
So yeah, you're right, Ben White, and yeah, there's a couple of other right backs who might be looking
yeah.
and get a little sniff now, might play up a little bit,
Even
thinking,
even Reece James. Reece James. People forget about
oh,
Reece James.
jeez, come on now, yeah, come
Yeah.
on. You know,
Yeah.
and to be
Players.
fair,
England have got players, man.
his sister's not a bad baller either, is she? She's
No, she's a
decent too.
quality
Do
player.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
quality player. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Some people are
yeah.
actually argue she's technically a better footballer than him.
Yeah. She's got right
But
foot and left foot still. Yeah, she's
yeah,
decent.
she's
Mm,
decent, man. She's decent.
yeah, man.
So again, brilliant. So again, really from an international score, because again, I mean, we're both kind of sit with feet in two camps almost. We
Mm,
look out for England results. We love our home country of Jamaica, our heritage.
hmm
We look out for their results too. So a positive weekend for both.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be
Some people
interested to
might not.
see.
Some people might not look. Some people might not look at it in Jamaica like that, because they were honestly. I've heard some things,
It's
but I was
always been
like,
that way.
wow.
I'll be honest. I'll tell the truth,
But-
right? I'll tell the truth. I'll expose myself right here, right now. All right. When I was growing up, and England would play the West Indies at cricket,
Mm,
it didn't matter who won because I'm like, I'm both.
mm, mm.
I'm
I
British
know what you're
born.
saying.
Do you know what I mean? So if
Mm.
England win, yay! But if Jamaica win, yeah, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really
That's
happy
us.
though.
We're a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Mm,
both. You know what I mean? And we
yeah.
can't lie about what our heritage is. But
Mm,
it brings us to the question because, again, we do know that there's been like rumblings amongst the Jamaica fans about the
yeah.
fact that there's so many what are called heritage players, i.e., non-Jamaican born players, now being drafted into the squad. How do we feel about that, Rory? Because again, if we're saying that some of the local Jamaican players at the moment aren't meeting the standard for international football, is it right to do that? I mean, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Look at the French team. Look at the German team.
Yeah.
Germany have somebody called Emre Can. Now, to my knowledge, his lineage is Turkish. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
If we look at the French team, then you don't need to tell me how many of the French national players are of African descent, full African descent.
That's
so
right.
This hasn't not been done by other international teams. And if we look at England themselves, their two goal scorers yesterday, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish, I do believe they actually played for other nationalities before playing for England.
Yeah, they did. They did. That's right.
Yeah. So, before the noise comes, Jamaica won't be doing anything that any other federation hasn't done before.
Yeah.
They won't be doing anything different. But anyway, going back to the question, how do you feel about the heritage players coming into Jamaica?
You know the thing about it, I feel it's a positive move because I said this on a podcast a few days ago, but I just said it how it is.
Yeah.
For the quality they've got in the Jamaica Premier League, it's nowhere near. No disrespect, it's nowhere near the level. Nowhere level. Like if some of them players came to England, they're probably playing like
National League.
At best.
Yeah.
At best, because the thing is, it's just absolutely totally different.
It's
totally different, and you have to look at it. How many Jamaican players have actually came over from Jamaica to come and play in the English league? Only playing the English top league. Only can think of two, to be fair. No, three. Sorry. Claude Davis, Ricardo Gardner, and Ricardo Fuller.
It's a few.
And they were top players. Top players.
I mean, we've got players like back in the day. You got John Barnes, who was born in Jamaica, but he didn't really grow up in the Jamaican footballing system, to the best of my knowledge. So and there's other players who are Jamaican born but have played over here. But you're absolutely
you might actually get the odd one who say, you know what, this boy's outstanding, his class and whatever. But to actually say, you're gonna put out a JPL team. You know what I mean? JPL team to represent to get us to the World Cup. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen at all.
No.
It's not gonna happen.
It's real talk, Rory, because it's killer to have to say that, but that's again one of those elephants in the room where Jamaica have got a box clever, and part of me thinks to myself, the fact they've even gone for McLaren says that they're willing to do that. The JFF are willing to do something that might be uncomfortable to the fans initially, but I tell you what, if the team start winning games consistently, then they won't care. They won't care.
That's right.
Because
another thing I'll say for Jamaica, like obviously they got to use the quality coaching they're getting from Steve McLaren and the thing about it, I'd say the Jamaica Federation, what they've got to do, they've got to say, right, we have to start from grassroots now and make sure that level is up there. So we say, right, this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do, we're going to probably bring some coaches in from abroad to say, right, we want people, we want people to coach our young players, to teach them the right things, the basics, what is needed to play at not at local level, at international level, so they can actually get. You know what I mean? Imagine now, for instance, if we went over to Jamaica and we say, yo, you know what? Yo, you seen that player there? Yeah, that player can come and play in England. Is that good? That's what we want. That's
Well,
what we
here
want.
it's a good point, Rory, because the thing is, we know the standard
Mm.
that we're looking at. Whereas, with the greatest respect, to coach in Jamaica has more than likely not been over here.
Mm.
And as a result, they don't know what they're comparing to. They don't know what they're
Yeah.
retaining to.
That's what it
You
is.
know what I
That's what
mean?
it is. Imagine
So,
now, for instance, like, all right, I'll give you a situation now, Paul. So imagine now, right? I'm coaching. No, I'm scouting, right?
mm,
I'm scouting in like let's say, for instance, say Burton Junior League, okay?
yeah, yeah,
And I say, yeah, I got a brilliant player,
mm,
here, and
mm,
then without me even actually looking and going to like if I'm scouting, imagine if I'm scouting for Derby County or something like that, yeah,
yeah,
and I'm saying, yeah, I got a brilliant player without even looking at what
mm,
Derby County have got, and I'm expecting to send that player there, knowing
mm-hmm,
that I don't know what's going on. It's
mm-hmm,
like, nah, it don't work. You have to go and have a look and see what they've got first.
yeah,
Yeah. If they haven't got what they, if you believe that that player is good enough to go and play at that level,
mm-hmm,
at Derby County, by all means send him. But
yeah.
if you go there and then you can see he ain't good enough, you can't send him because you're setting up the boy to fail. You get
There
me?
you
So you
go.
have to have a look and see what you got first. You know what I mean?
There you go. Brilliant. Brilliant.
You can't just throw him in because it ain't right. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna throw some of them boys in the national team. Remember, it ain't even a league team. Is national,
It's
international. You know,
international level. Exactly.
international, world level.
It's yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they
yeah,
could, all right. They can try the best. Probably got determination. They can try the best. But the
yeah.
problem is, have they got that extra quality to say, right, you know what I mean? And that's what Jamaica need to get to the World Cup, because at the end of the day
And
you're gonna play like, yeah, uh-huh.
I think you're so right. You're so on the nail there because when we look at the game yesterday, and sorry, not yesterday,
Friday,
2 days ago,
Friday,
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
When we look at that game, you've got a Cuba side down to 10 man.
Mm,
Not the greatest playing surface to play on, but that's a whole another issue.
yeah.
But those 7 opportunities on target
Mm,
opportunities,
mm,
not to mention the couple that hit the post and went over the bar.
mm.
That quality that you're on about, that's the difference between that 3 points and only getting 1 point.
All right.
Because, again, in those moments, that's what separates the average players from good or great players, is the fact
Mm,
that when it's tough, they're consistent. When it's
mm,
against an
mm,
easy
mm.
team, they're consistent. And when it's really hard, they still deliver. The likes of Harry
Exactly.
Kane. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter. Harry Kane's got half an ankle, half a back injury, whatever he's
Yeah.
carrying, he
Mm,
still gets a goal for you.
hmm,
That level
hmm.
of consistency where he's 10% fit or 100% fit, he still causes a
That's right.
problem for you.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
that's the level. Now, I'm not saying the Jamaican boys can be a Harry Kane straight away, but you never know, we
Yeah.
might unearth one.
Mm,
But
that's
it's
right.
about that consistency. And that's the difficulty because, okay, you've got somebody say like Mikel Antonio leading the line, but Mikel
Mm,
Antonio's footballing journey is not one of going through academy straight into Premier League. He's gone from
exactly.
lower league football.
Yeah.
You know
Hmm,
what I mean?
hmm, hmm.
So some of those raw, basic quality attributes and instinct bits just aren't going to be there, you know?
Mm, that's
And
right.
with the greatest respect to him and some of the Jamaican players,
Mm,
those are the bits that they're going to miss. Just that bit
mm,
of composure, that little bit of quality difference. That in
mm,
that
mm,
moment,
mm. That's
you
right.
might even, you know what I mean. You might be intelligent enough to just let the ball hit you on the thigh rather than trying to hit it with your foot because you're like, yeah, it's just
Mm,
going to go in, it's
mm.
just going to bounce off me and go in because you've been in that
Yeah.
situation before. But if you've not
Mm,
been exposed to that kind of situation where, oh, I'm so close to goal, if I try and lash it, I could miss kick it or it's going to go fly over. If you've
mm,
not been in those
mm, mm,
scenarios, I mean, I was watching some schoolboy football. I got sent some links,
mm,
and Rory, like, and again, like yourself, not being disrespectful to any of our fellow coaches in the worldwide football community, but some of the coach language and education that I can clearly see from what they say, because that reveals the knowledge of a coach, is what they say to their
mm.
players. And
Yeah.
I was just, my only phrase, my phrase, mercy,
Mercy.
mercy, mercy.
Oh
You
dear.
know?
The thing about it is like it's like some of the coaches that struggle. They struggle junior league
Yo, yo.
where we're at. You get me? In the
Yeah, yeah,
UK, they struggle,
yeah,
you know? They
yeah,
struggle, honestly. It's like
yeah.
it's all right shouting at and give like trying to, you know what I mean? Give a bit of determination and you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
That ain't enough. That's not enough.
No,
That is
no.
not enough at
Players need the
all.
knowledge, and so there's two things. It's not the coach's fault. It's not the players'
Mm,
fault, because
mm,
clearly what there isn't is an infrastructure. There
mm,
isn't a learning infrastructure to give those coaches the quality that they can then
yeah.
pass on to the players. But like you say, this is where there needs to be a parallel project
Mm,
that
mm,
is running alongside the time that Cleve McLaren is in charge of the Jamaica national team. And
yeah.
while that's happening, there needs to be a really quick, root but thorough look
Mm,
into what is in the grassroots of Jamaican football. Okay.
that's right.
And then once that piece of work's been done, so that might take 6 months. So then that
Mm,
leaves you a year
mm,
and a half of his 2 years. So then that
yeah.
in that year and a half, then you put something in place to say, right, okay, this is what we're going to put in the parishes. You know, we might have a football hub in each parish, but
Yeah.
that football hub has got to be at a place where football can be played all the time. So that means there might
Hmm.
be some
Hmm.
infrastructure investment that's needed for that.
Yes,
Once that's
that's
done,
right.
you've
Hmm.
got 10 years use out of it. So that's good, that's done, that's lasting.
Mm,
Then you've got to give the coaches the knowledge, but you need the coaches to start having that knowledge from now, because we can't wait 6 months to start teaching coaches. We already can see there's a deficit in the coaches. Why?
mm,
Because of the product that's coming out at the end. Yeah, so that tells
mm,
you that. You know, it's like a simple equation. You know, you put 2 and 2 in a calculator, it shows you 4. So we can
mm.
see what the deficit is even now. So you can start the coaches on the education pathway now. You know,
Yeah,
that way they're already 6 months ahead once the facilities are then in place. And
that's
like
right.
I was
See what you're
speaking to
saying.
somebody about yesterday,
Mm,
there's another stadium, and big props to a guy called Durr from Derby, who was talking to me on messages today while I was out walking, just watching some amateur football.
hmm.
And he says, I think it's down in Trelawney.
Yeah.
There's a stadium that's not being used, and that Jamaica
Wow.
Football Federation needs its own home. It needs its
That's
own
what I need.
home.
That's
It
what I need.
can't have it can't have a pitch that's also used for athletics and has got
Yeah.
discus holes and
Yeah.
shot put divots and
Yeah.
javelin holes and is
Mm,
so
mm,
sandy I could build a
mm.
sandcastle. It
They
can't be
need their
that.
own. They need their own Wembley. They need their own Wembley in it. That's what they need.
Okay.
Their own
Thank
Wembley.
you.
That's what they need.
Thank you.
And the thing
Yeah.
about it is, like, what they need to do also. I feel they need to actually have somewhere where if they see some talented players to
Mm.
take them and train them. Like obviously, you know, like with academy level, you know, like
Yeah.
obviously in our country
Yeah.
here, yeah, obviously,
So in
like other
France they've got
academies.
Clairefontaine. In France they've got Clairefontaine, which is
Ah,
basically the
ah,
kids that are
that's
good.
right.
They literally go there like a grammar school. They just do football
Yes,
all their life. There, that's
that's
it. It's
right.
football.
That's
You
right.
do your
That's right.
education, go and train
Yeah,
football. Next day,
that's right.
train football,
Yeah,
education. Next day,
yeah,
train football, education. Next day, train football, education.
definitely.
Day off,
Yeah.
matches, train football,
Mm.
education. Yeah,
And if
and
they did that within 5 or 6 years, you see the players coming through, you say, thinking, "Wow, who's this player?" You know?
well, look at the success that
Mm,
France have had in the
yeah,
last 5 to 10 years.
yeah,
When you
that's
track
right.
back those players
Mm,
that are in the French national team and where they come from,
yeah,
I think if not all of them, 90% have
yeah.
come
All
from
been
or
there, ain't they?
through
All been
Fair
there.
from Tame. Yeah,
Even
yeah,
Germany, ain't Germany got
yeah.
one? Also,
Similar tins, similar
yeah.
tins, similar
Mm-hmm.
tins. The
Mm-hmm.
model works. The model works. This is
That's
why,
right.
Rory, England built St George's Park, because they
Yeah.
looked around the world what was happening. Do you remember that
Mm,
consultation about 10, 12 years ago?
yeah,
That's
that's right.
you know
Mm-hmm.
that went out to coaches, and that's what's longer than 20, 12 years ago, because that's when I did my,
Yeah,
so it's longer than that. But that consultation went out, and then they reviewed everything, and then St George's Park, which had been rumoured about for years, because remember before that there was Lillishall, and that was it.
yeah.
That was sort of the centre
Really
of
sure.
football, and
Yeah.
then yeah, there was
That's like what
Lillishall.
Shrewsbury ends. Yeah, yeah. It's like
That's
a
it exactly. But
it's like a
that
haunted
was
house up there, you know. It's being
I,
serious, you know, bro.
yeah, I can imagine,
Yeah,
bro. I can imagine. You know,
yeah.
a lot of
Tell
players
you
would
that.
go there and get their physio and rehab. Um,
Mm,
but it was Lillestrøm was talked about as like a place of excellence. Obviously,
Yeah.
you had Wembley Stadium, but there wasn't a training facility. There wasn't a national training facility,
Mm.
and you can't come away from the fact that in the same era they created the FA Licensed Coaches Club, which meant that all grassroots coaches had to have the basics of at least a level 1, a first aid certificate, and safeguarding training and checks.
Mm.
That the standard at grassroots, I mean, I was watching like kids today at Darley Fields and adults at the same space. You've got respect barriers, you've got better marked out pitches and stuff like that. Today it was an absolute joy this morning to see. It was an absolute joy, Rory.
Good.
But a lot of those standards now are there because of that work that the FA did so many years
Yeah.
ago. So again, we might need the heritage players to get us to the World Cup in 2 years' time, 2026.
Yeah. Mm.
But
in the
at the same
meantime,
time, yeah,
build, get the young boys, the young players, like, you know what I mean? Who they think talented, not
yeah,
the players who, oh yeah, you get what I mean? Like bringing players who are not good enough and you're
yeah,
trying to push them through, but they have to have they have to have talent. They've got to be handpicked
yeah,
instead of people picking them. They've got to be handpicked to say, right, to nurture them and to let them
yeah,
know what the situation, let them know what's going on. Because
yeah.
when you look at it, like in Jamaica, we've got athletes. So
Natural athletes, bro.
that's half the trouble done. That's half the problem. It's half the
Listen,
trouble
Rory.
done, isn't it?
Listen,
I
Rory.
mean,
I was in Jamaica in June of this year, right?
mm,
And if you've not been in a place that's more inspiring and more healing
mm,
than where we were, I don't
mm,
know where you go. I don't know where you
yeah,
go. So
true.
there's something magical about Jamaica where everything grows, everything
Mm,
grows,
yeah,
um, and
yeah.
you've only got to look at the athletics world, and apart from the Olympics, where we probably didn't do as well as Jamaica have normally done in recent
Mm,
years, but
mm,
we've been dominating the sprint and the explosive events for at least a decade. I mean, you look at what
mm,
Usain Bolt did. I know it's one person,
yeah.
but right behind him was Usain Blake. Behind him was Asafa
Mm,
Powell. You move on
mm,
to the women, you've got Shelley Ann Fraser Price, you know,
mm,
and all the other women flying. You know, there's
mm,
not just her. But even
mm,
before that, you had Merlin Otti going back quite a
yeah,
way. Do
that's
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She was just,
Remember, yeah,
I think the last time she medaled, she was 38 years old.
yeah.
Magical,
Mm-hmm.
magical,
Mm,
bro.
mm,
So,
mm,
in terms of the athletic pedigree and the athletic history of the country, it's there.
yeah.
And
Mm,
McLaren said it in his press conference that he'd been working as a technical advisor or some sort of consultant for FIFA,
mm,
and he'd looked at the stats and the information for Jamaica and felt that Jamaica's a potential sleeping giant on the international stage.
yeah.
And you've got to think that the raw roots. If you look at the game now, it's not even about being really skillful anymore. It's about being
No.
athletic.
Pace, pace and power,
Yeah,
strength. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Do you know what I
Because
mean?
of the high press,
Yeah,
you've got to be aerobically fit like nothing before.
yeah.
You've got to be
That's
so
right.
fit. Yeah,
Cool. Let
yeah,
me give you a joke now. Yeah. So basically, when I went for the was it 2004 or five? When I went for like the scouting interview at Birmingham City. So
mm.
basically, I'm in the interview now. I'm not going to name the person's name because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not going to. So basically, I'm at the interview now. So obviously, he says to me, he says, "You know what, Rory? Do you know what I want to do? I want to build a black team." And I'm like, "You what?" I was like, I started laughing. You know what I mean? I thought he was joking. I
yeah,
thought he was just saying
yeah,
it. But he says, "Yeah, I want to build a black team." I goes, "Why? Why you say that?" He goes, "You know why? It's because the way you eat, the things what we eat, and the pace and the power, the structure." I was like, hey, you know what I mean? I was shocked.
yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah,
heard that. You know, what I mean, he's
yeah,
an English guy, no, nice guy, no, you get me, cool
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I want to build. I was like, wow, yeah,
yeah,
leave it, because it's
yeah,
the way we eat in it. You know what I mean? Paul,
yeah,
one second, bro.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's true to say that. I mean, Michael Johnson's done a documentary on it. It may still be available on BBC iPlayer, and it talks about the heritage of Caribbean and Afro-Caribbean people. And it talks about the density in our muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers, which is why globally most of the explosive sports are dominated by people of Caribbean and Afro-Caribbean descent. So, you've only got to look at the rosters now of most Premier League clubs, and the number of African and Caribbean heritage players that they have. is there to be seen. So yeah, it's the era I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, where just players were starting to break through and went through a lot of pressure, a lot of difficulty, a lot of racism. It's not to say that that's not gone from the game, but it is true to say that if you look at how many players,
back again, Paul. Sorry, mate.
No, that's all right, bro. I was just saying about the heritage and that there's a documentary that Michael Johnson's done that delves into why we are so explosive as Caribbean African descent people. And if you look at the rosters, Championship even and Premier League, every team. I mean, there was a time the old Blackburns and Burnleys of this world didn't have a brother from another mother in sight, but now every team realizes that strength and that explosion and acceleration that many other races try to replicate. It's just naturally occurring because again we have more fast-twitch fibers in our muscles, more explosiveness, strength and power ratios are better. So yeah, Rory, we're coming up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm conscious of how much time I'm taking out your weekend and how long I'm taking you from your good woman.
Back to work tomorrow anyway, early.
Yeah. It's coming. Well, I mean, I've had a little bit of time off, as you probably know, due to a recent family bereavement, and just trying to get my head back in a good place based on that, and also some pressures. So I mean, this has been amazing because it's always good to chat and just try and get those ideas that we've had for how many years have we said we're going to do this?
Boy, for about 5 or 6 years, to be fair.
Isn't it just? But then I don't remember this app being available that has allowed us to do what we've just done. I'm hoping what I've done has gone to another platform, be it YouTube, and is held there.
It's on there. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
on there.
Hopefully it'll store on there, because I think the subscription package that I've got on this at the moment said it's not saving it in SteamYard, but I just want to. I'm not sponsored by them.
YouTube, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not sponsored by them at all, SteamYard, but I want to say thank you to whoever created this application, because it's given Rory and myself the possibility and the opportunity to do something that we've wanted to do for a long time. Guys, we've got no idea how this looks. If you do come across this on YouTube, please add some comments, some suggestions. If you want to come on the show and have a chat to us, let's talk about when we're going to do the next one. What are we saying? Same time, same place next Sunday? Can we do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, works for you? Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay, we'll go for that.
I'm on point this time. I thought you said 10 o'clock. I thought I don't know why 10 o'clock. I don't know why.
I didn't want to make it too late. Do you know what it is? I was on one of those Jamaican podcasts that we do quite regular now. The other day, and I've been to the gym. I'd gone to the gym to kind of get myself energized. Well, it was about 90 minutes into the podcast. I'm not going to tell you if it was me or the host that was falling asleep, but there was somebody who was falling asleep on a podcast. Yeah.
Is that how long it was? Wow. Say no more.
Yeah. That happened.
Crazy. So obviously, what you was talking about, what was going on? You couldn't be getting that boring, surely now.
No. The topic was good, but just I was exhausted, bro. Because let's remember when we're doing the Jamaican ones live, it's like because of the time shift, it might be afternoon for them, but then that's like morning you. You know what I mean? And so it was. It was one of them, bro. It was one of them. But listen, I'm going to wrap things up.
All right,
Rory, thank you so much for joining me, because at one point I thought I was going solo for what would have probably been 5 minutes, and I'll just come off. So no, we've been going for just under 2 hours, and it's not felt like 2 hours. That's been amazing.
No, I want to be honest. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experience with me and anybody else who cares to tune in and listen. So we're going to do it again. next week, unless anything crops up for either one of us football-wise. We'll be looking at 8 p.m. On Sunday, and I think that sounds like a nice regular slot, just a nice way to talk out the weekend. Yeah.
Fine.
And I just want to wish you and everybody else who's tuned in a fantastic week. Enjoy what's left of your weekend, and thank you for watching the FootballWorks football show with Rory and Paul. See you later.
All the best anyway. See you later, guys. See you in a bit.